Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley.
I'm Brian.
The Sims Free Play is being removed from storefronts in 7 countries after running afoul of censors in those countries, and so far EA is not really going into detail on the reasoning, but we can hazard a few guesses.
Yeah, according to an announcement made on the EA forums and on the website of the Melbourne-based developer FireMonkeys, starting 5th of July 2018, The Sims Free Play will no longer be made available in the following storefronts: China, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Kuwait, Qatar, and Egypt.
As for the why, well, developer FireMonkeys explains that we're retiring The Sims Free Play because of new regional standards in these countries, and that's it. That's all to say.
Yeah, EA did include one thing in their announcement that might provide a clue, though. They said, "We've always been proud that our in-game experiences embrace values as broad and diverse as our incredible Sims community. This has been important to us as we know it is to you."
So that's led to a lot of speculation, understandably, with the general online consensus being that it may be related to LGBT relationships in the game. And The Sims has been famously supportive of inclusivity and flexibility since the franchise launched 18 years ago, and that's continued through pretty much every iteration.
Yeah, back in 2016, they did drop gender restrictions from wardrobe options in The Sims 4. Males could carry pregnancies, you could choose whatever type of frame you wanted for your Sims character. Different game, obviously, but they share the same overall philosophies about character freedom, and the countries that Free Play is disappearing from, they're not exactly known for the LGBT tolerance.
Not really.
No.
Thing is, though, and this is where it sort of gets weird, this game's been available since 2011 in these storefronts, and none of that's changed in this case, which makes the whole thing a bit of a head scratcher. It's pretty common to alter packaging and marketing materials and all that stuff in different regions to cater to different consumers in different markets, but it seems like a pretty big stretch to suppose that the censors in all those countries were somehow unaware of LGBT inclusion until now.
Maybe all their soccer players in the World Cup were playing it this week.
So they just decided,
"What
no
the-
more."
What the fuck? There is another thing, though, that we haven't mentioned. About 2 days before this ban was announced, they added pregnancy to the game.
Oh, well, now we're pushing it.
And
Okay.
here's the real scandalous part, though. You don't even have to be married to get pregnant.
Ban it now.
Burn 'em. Well, but is that enough for a ban, though? There are some pretty harsh penalties for unwed mothers in the Middle East. Women have been arrested for that kind of thing. China, though, it's not really illegal there. We did some research. Women can be fined if it's been a weird afternoon here at the Know.
Yeah, we've maybe on some lists.
Yeah, women can be fined in China if they can't present a marriage certificate upon giving birth, and obviously there's a lot of social pressure against it. But it seems like a less significant concern for the region than others.
Yeah, I mean, also though, there is the small but potentially important wording discrepancy between what EA is saying and what FireMonkey is saying.
Right. Here's how EA explains it in light of regional standards.
And here's how FireMonkey explains it. We're retiring The Sims Free Play because of new regional standards in these countries.
So it is possible that there's some new restriction that isn't in place yet that's going to be in place next month maybe, and that would explain why they set a July 5th date instead of just pulling them immediately.
Right, like if it was some crazy, oh God, you should never have had this, it seems like they would just yank it instead of scheduling it, but I guess we'll see in a week. Regardless of the reason, it's gonna be gone. So what does this mean for people in those countries?
So starting July 5th, if you live in one of those countries, you cannot buy the game anymore, and it's not gonna be updated with new features for existing owners.
EA wrote, you can keep playing after this date if you already have The Sims Free Play installed on your mobile device, but further updates or purchases will not be available. Since we won't be updating, the game could stop working at a later date. If you delete the game or switch to a new device, the game won't be available to download.
Yeah, and as for how much this will hurt the game, it's not entirely clear at this point. The game has been out for years, like we said. It's
2011.
Yeah, and it's The Sims. It's got a pretty active user base still. According to Stat Tracker Think Games, it had around 1 million daily active users last month.
That's okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, so depending on the percentage of those that are spending money in the game and the percentage of those who are in the now banned countries, yeah, it could take a hit, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to what they've made overall.
Yeah, obviously the biggest market of all the countries it's now banned in is China. We don't have stats on exactly how many downloads the game has had in that region, but It's no small thing to be locked out of China. That market can make or break international numbers all by itself. I mean, just ask the Transformers movies.
Chinese mobile gaming market, though, is huge. It grew an insane 250% in 2 years, according to the researcher App Annie. As of last year, their mobile market stood at $11 billion.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's the third most valuable market after Japan and the US. And considering how big the Sims franchise is, it's safe to say that it's made a lot of money in China. So this is not some small thing for EA to pull the game from that country.
I mean, I guess, though, on the bright side for EA, I mean, since the game's been out since 2011, it did already make all that 7-year money. So the percentage of overall lifetime revenue potential they're losing, that's gonna hurt a lot less.
As for the bigger picture, maybe you don't care about The Sims, but it's worth wondering if this will impact other games in the future. If this is about LGBT inclusion, what else is going to happen to a game like Last of Us 2, whose storyline, revolves around Ellie, who you might remember the trailer of her kissing her girlfriend at E3. So does that mean...
was a steamy trailer.
Yeah, but does that mean it's going to get an auto ban in all of these countries?
Well, also worth considering, I mean, if these kinds of bans would end up potentially encouraging self-censorship by developers in the future to avoid offending the Chinese market in particular. Obviously, this is involving 7 countries, but China is still the big one.
Yeah, or if they release modified versions in those countries with all the offensive bits cut out. That's a pretty common thing in Germany, for example, but that's usually over violence or gore, or Australia, where there are occasionally changes because of drugs or sexual violence.
Yeah, so it's possible we could start to see changes either just in those regions with different bits being cut out of them, or in general so developers can continue releasing their Sims seems to have decided against it, but a lot of other developers will do what they need to. I mean, end of the day, developers are in the business to make money, and there's a lot of money to be made in China. So we'll see.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about the Sims game getting banned in China and 6 other countries? Let us know in the comments.
Pop quiz, can you name all the countries?
Shit.
Hold on. Saudi Arabia, UAE,
Oman.
Qatar. Oman. Missing one. What other one we're missing?
Kuwait.
Boom! Nice. And for all your geography news, make sure you like this video and subscribe to The Know.
And Egypt.
Damn, Egypt!
Fuck!
I was waiting for either of you to get Egypt.
And it's like, that would make sense.
Are...
But they haven't changed that in the 7 years the game's been available.
Right.
In those countries. So weird.
Yeah. Though, with, 7 years ago, the climate was so different than now.
It was, but they dropped this pregnancy update 2